Login complete. Welcome to Alyx's world.
Hello all, and welcome to Alyx's world, a safe space for wrestling fans like you. I am your host, Alyx, just Alyx. If you see an AEW video, that means the show I was watching was good. Keep that in mind for future uploads. So, as you guys know, if you have not been keeping up, I have a contentious relationship currently with AEW All Elite Wrestling. I have not been a fan of the current product at all. It's some of the worst I've seen from them. As a package, overall, I just feel like things are just happening. Nobody's being established. No characters, no stories, nothing. It's just wrestling. And look here. One of the big issues I had with WWE back in late 2000s, early 2010s was that too much story, not enough wrestling. We've gone the complete opposite with AEW, where there's no story, no character, and it's just random people fighting whenever, wherever. And that's not good either. You need a happy medium. You need to be able to give fans all of it. The best shows, the best wrestling companies understand that. Let me just say this too. Are there some stories in AEW that have potential? Are there some characters that do stand out? Yes, but I still feel like, for me, they're not maximizing what they have to the fullest potential. The stuff that is working is just scratching the surface of what it could be. And if you need any other proof that AEW isn't maximizing what it has on TV, just look at its numbers. You don't need to look at the ratings, just look at the audiences. People are not interested. They're not coming out. And that's bad. It's bad. They should be lighting the world on fire, especially around this time, now that we've entered All In season. We're coming up to their WrestleMania. And it still kind of feels like AEW is in limbo mode. That's not good. And so I'm hoping with the return of MJF, and now that we've started the Owen Hart Cup tournament, we can begin to breathe some life back into All Elite Wrestling. And so for me, until things start getting interesting again, it's just best if I keep it to uploads. I like the fact that I can just turn on the camera and just talk. I don't really have a script. Basically, what I'm going to do is go on Twitter, look at my tweets, and whatever I talked about, that's what we'll talk about. So if I didn't talk about it on Twitter, I'm not talking about it here. That basically means all the shit I thought was bad is not getting mentioned. Everything else, we will talk about. That's how we avoid me shitting on the product, right? I guess. It's my way of staying constructive, because if I review the entire show, there will be a ton of things that irritate me, and this will turn into a rant video real quick. During this time period when AEW is trying to find itself again, is trying to dig out of the rut and hopefully regain its buzz, especially since we've entered TV rights season. They're currently negotiating a new TV rights deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. They need to be on their A game. They don't have the luxury of goofing around. So Forbidden Door is coming up next Sunday. Once that's done, you need to put the foot on the pedal, and every week needs to be a banger. You don't have room to go in there and just do whatever the fuck you want. Tony Khan, get your head out of your ass. I'm done being nice to Tony. Get your head out of your ass. Stop pushing random and AEW Fight Forever and just booking matches for the sake of booking matches. This is not about you, Tony. This is about the fans. Do what's best for AEW. If you aren't willing and ready and able to produce the kind of show that's going to grow All Elite Wrestling, that is, build upon your audience, create new fans, then hire people, put them in certain positions to fill in the gaps that you clearly aren't covering, and just do what needs to be done. Period. If you are a fan of AEW and you're someone that tells me I don't care about stories, you don't care about AEW. Period. I'm done being nice about it. If you truly love All Elite Wrestling, if you truly want these wrestlers, men and women, to have a platform where they can have money, get paid to wrestle, and then take care of their families, you should want AEW to be the best that it can be, right? You can't have AEW at its best without stories. I'm not saying tell stories like WWE. That's the last thing I want them to do. Tell stories your kind of way. Tell stories in a unique way with a unique perspective that only AEW can do. That's all I'm saying. It can't be that hard. They've done it for the last 5 years. They just stopped doing it over the last 6 months, half a year? Come on now. You and I both know AEW should be a lot better than what it is now. And it can be and it should be. Period. End of story. So, with that in mind, I am going to talk about some things that piqued my interest tonight. I'm not going to say everything I tweeted about was positive. There are a lot of things that did irritate me about Dynamite, like it's been doing for the last 6 months now. But there are some good things too. And I would like to highlight that. So this first tweet I put up before Dynamite aired. And since it is an AEW tweet, we are going to talk about it. This is kind of breaking the mold here because it didn't happen on Dynamite, but they were on Dynamite. So we'll definitely talk about it. This first tweet says, "It's been 3 months since the New Elite formed in March, and I still have no idea what their purpose is. What is their goal? To take over AEW? For what reason? What do they want to change, and why do they want to change it? Most importantly, why should the fans care to see them fail? They're heels, right? The object of the game is to make me spend money to see you lose. These are important questions that need answers for a compelling storyline. And any promotion, it's not just a WWE thing. And without them, no one will care except for the usual AEW sickos. As Tony Khan puts it, that tweet he put out where he said, "I'm booking the show for the sickos." Okay, that's all that's watching. And they will only watch because it's AEW. They will watch regardless of how bad the stories are. They don't care about that. They just watch because they're faithful. That's not bad, but from a business standpoint, you need more than that. It's not enough. For me, the New Elite Takeover, we'll call it that. I don't know what it's called specifically, but the New Elite Takeover lost momentum when Tony Khan returned and took back control around Double or Nothing. Now, the Elite feel like just another average evil heel stable. Bad for the sake of being bad. They do. They're just an inconvenience now. They literally have zero impact on the company. Because anything they do would just be undone by Tony. He's back. There's no substance. Even with the additions of Jack Perry and Kazuchika Okada. Things are just happening for the sake of happening. But the wrestling is good, right? I mean, where are the lies here? I'm still waiting for them to get to the goddamn point. And I'm starting to think there is no point. They're just here. Hey fans, you can like the people in the group. On paper, Young Bucks, Okada, Jack Perry, it's a cool stable. But this storyline, if there is a storyline, I don't know what it is, whatever this is, it's garbage. It's garbage. Can we admit that? It sucks. It does nothing, is doing nothing for anybody or anything. We have it. We're stuck with it. But we know it could be so much better. Be honest with me. So this is when we get into Dynamite. MJF had an excellent match. An excellent match with Roosh. Roosh. Well, I can't do that. That's for Moose. What does Roosh do? What's his thing? Does he even have a thing? He needs to get one. I said, no lie. No lie. No lie. I just watched what had to be Roosh's best match inside an AEW ring. That opener with MJF was fantastic in all aspects. Loved the crowd work and selling on both of their parts. The whole match felt like the AEW I fell in love with. Good stuff. They were live in Virginia. Forgot the name of the city, but I think the building, was it Eagle Bank Arena? It sits around 10,000. They had around 5,000 in there. Halfway sold out. Not bad. You could hear them too. But they were hot for this match. MJF won. Kinda feel like this should have been at Forbidden Door, because now MJF is going to fight, what's his name? Hechicero? I hope I said that right. Hechicero, right? I mean, I've seen him wrestle a couple of times, because I have been watching Collision here and there. I think he wrestled Bryan Danielson. Did he have a black mask? I think. Probably. Maybe he was in a 8-man tag. I don't recall too much of what I've seen from him, but he's pretty good. But as a match for pay-per-view, that's the best you got for MJF? MJF isn't even in the Owen Hart Cup tournament, right? Yeah, that's a... I don't know whose idea that was. That was dumb. Why would you not put MJF in that tournament? What are y'all doing? Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay had a face-off. Look at this. While you had a hit row, I had a hit list. And I didn't miss one of them. Bars! Yo, Will Ospreay, that boy can talk. If you can get over the accent, I'm not bothered by it. He can talk. He got a good promo ability on him. So does Swerve. This match is going to be fire. This match, to me, is what's carrying Forbidden Door. While we have other New Japan Pro Wrestling and, of course, CMLL and maybe other talent from across the promotional landscape of professional wrestling, for me, the match that's carrying this event, Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland. Period. That is the match that I am looking forward to. I know it's going to be one of the best matches all year. It doesn't need anything else. And see, there is a story to this match, and it's not even that big. The story is, can Will Ospreay beat Swerve Strickland, get that, what's the word I'm looking for? Get that edge, get that killer instinct, there it is, have the cojones to hit him with the Tiger Driver 91. Because everyone knows, once you hit people with that move, it's over. They are building that move like it's Randy Orton's punt. You hit it, it's over. But Will Ospreay hasn't reconciled that with himself yet. So, if he hits it, we know he's winning. If he doesn't hit it, then Swerve retains. It can go either way. Now, something happens later on tonight that makes me think Will Ospreay could win, but it's not a guarantee. For me, right now in this moment, this is not predictions, although it kind of is, Swerve is my pick to win. I think I hope Swerve goes into AEW All In as world champion. He needs to main event the show. Swerve is literally the hottest talent you have. Literally. It's not even close. So he should close the show. I get that we're in the UK, it's Wembley, so Will Ospreay almost kinda has to be in the main event. I know he has to be on the show. That's gonna happen regardless. But the main event spot, I think you kinda have to put Will Ospreay in there. But you gotta have Swerve in there too. I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna have to find a way to satisfy both of those claims. Hopefully they can make that work. Roosh, after losing to MJF, is confronted by Don Callis backstage. Looks like Don Callis wants to recruit Roosh into his Don Callis family. I said it sounds interesting on paper, but I'm hesitant to say I'm excited about it because the Callis family has been booked like dog shit. Like dog shit in AEW. That's what it really said. On paper, sounds nice. Roosh is a great heel. You throw in Don Callis, that's even more heat. But my problem is, it feels like the Don Callis family is cursed, and anyone involved is just destined to look like a jobber. Even though they have legit main event players, Powerhouse Hobbs, who's hurt, Konosuke Takeshita, of course, is, without question, future main event player. Even Kyle Fletcher's not bad. If you're gonna do it, please do a better job of establishing the group. Otherwise, just leave Roosh alone. Keep him out of the family. Oh, I love this tweet. Kazuchika Okada cuts off the Acclaim's microphone during their entrance. We go backstage to Okada, who goes, "I pushed the wrong button. I'm so sorry." And I'm waiting for it. It's the new damn. That's what it is. It's the new damn. Okada going, bitch. Yo, I can't be the only one that's saying it with him. Every time he does that pause, I'm waiting for it. Where is it? Bitch. And I laugh every single time. This guy has amazing, impeccable comedic timing. I'm telling you, he should be a comedian. He's great. He's great. I think the Acclaim beat the Young Bucks, right? Yeah, so the Acclaim is getting a tag team title shot at Forbidden Door. They should. I don't know if they're going to win, but they should. Oh, here we go. This is the big one. So this is what everyone is most likely going to be talking about. Will Ospreay and MJF just came face to face for the first time. Is this a tease for the main event of AEW All In at Wembley Stadium? You know, that's a big match. I talked about this when I did the short on Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland. I mentioned the fact that, well, whoever wins the main event will most likely fight MJF at All In, right? If you do MJF versus Will Ospreay, that has to main event the show, right? That might be the biggest match that you can do if it doesn't involve Swerve Strickland. That's a huge match. That's two of your biggest stars. Maybe they don't main event it. I'm just saying, they could just have them fight for the International Championship. It depends on who's fighting Swerve for the world title and who wins the Owen Hart Cup. We'll talk about that in a second. But if they're doing Will Ospreay versus MJF, good luck finding a bigger match to main event All In. And yes, that should include the world title. So they probably just spoiled the results of the main event at Forbidden Door, but we'll see. Again, they could always do it for the international title. But if that's the direction, good luck following that. So they had this contract signing between Toni Storm, Mina Shirakawa, and of course Mariah May, which then saw Saraya come out with a new stable with Anna Jay and I think Harley Cameron, right? And they attacked Mariah May, Toni Storm, and Mina Shirakawa. It was a lot. I said it here in the tweet. I feel like they tried to do too much in this segment. The Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa contract signing was more than enough. It really was. They didn't need to do anything else. It says here, their love triangle with Mariah May should be the focus. Expand on that as much as possible because it's barely scratched the surface. Like, I understand that Mariah and Mina have a history from Stardom. They were in a tag team. They were tag team champs. And they were a thing. I don't know if it was official. They didn't go into detail about that. But they were a thing. And the premise is Mina wants Mariah to choose her or Toni Storm. So it's a love triangle, I guess. My thing is, okay, but why? Why is there a love triangle here? Why should Mariah want to choose Mina over Toni? Like, what is the nature of their relationship? Like, how deep does it run? I feel like this is just bare bones storytelling. You need more than that, y'all. You're gonna need more than that if you want people to care. And then you throw Saraya out there. They just throw her out there. And then they recruit Anna Jay, like literally in the same segment. It feels like we're building to Saraya and Toni Storm before we got to Toni Storm and Mina. It's a lot happening. It just muddies the waters. If they would have done this, let's say, after Forbidden Door, then okay, now it would feel like this is a direction for All In. And you know what? Saraya fighting Toni Storm? To me, that sounds like a plan. That probably should be the match they do. I don't think Saraya should beat Toni Storm. If you're going to do Saraya and Toni Storm at the biggest show of the year for AEW, then yeah, you do want to get them involved as much as possible and somehow connect Mariah to that. I don't know what you do there. But yeah, I just think there was a lot being done here. I do know that Saraya is in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. We'll talk about that when we get to it. But as of right now, she's a favorite. Because they're going to be in the UK, and Saraya is a massive hit in the UK. You already know this. Quick tweet. Daniel Garcia had a match against the Jobber. Daniel Garcia is being built up again. They are renewing his push as the wrestler. I love it. Don't screw it up. Says it right here. Just don't screw it up. If you're pushing Daniel Garcia, go all the way and have him win some kind of an AEW championship. TNT, International, no excuses. It's time to establish him. This is like the 5th time. I'm not joking. The 5th time they've tried to push this guy. Enough with the start and stop pushes. Go all the way with it, please. That's all I'm asking. Just go all the way with it. And then we end it with Pac getting an upset victory over Claudio Castagnoli. I said here, imagine a main event involving Pac and his home country at Wembley Stadium. Huge. Huge. I don't see it happening, though. But he should be on the card. He better be at All In. Even if it's with the Lucha Bros. Death Triangle against Jay White and his group. He better be there. I will be pissed if Pac is not on the card. So let's take a look at these brackets for the Owen Hart Cup tournament. So this is the women. We got Willow Nightingale, Serena Deeb, Nyla Rose, Chris Statlander. Now, Chris Statlander did defeat Nyla Rose, so she's moving on. Deonna Purrazzo, Hikaru Shida. Where the hell have you been, Hikaru Shida? Mariah May and Saraya. Don't know why Thunder Rosa isn't in this. Did Deonna Purrazzo beat Thunder Rosa? Is that why she's not? Who knows? Regardless, looking at it on paper, it's between Mariah May or Saraya. Now, you could have Willow win it again and fight Mercedes. I don't see that happening. I can see Chris Statlander beating Willow, and I can see those two fighting at Forbidden Door as well, which means Chris Statlander goes to the finals. I mean, in that case, it would make the most sense if it's Mariah May, right? I don't know. Mariah May, Saraya. For the sake of what's happening right now, I'm picking Saraya to win. Simply because they've already set up a feud between Saraya and Toni, tonight especially. You might as well follow through with it. And if you're going to make Saraya Toni Storm's opponent, you gotta establish her. She needs to get a series of wins. And now that she has a stable behind her, that's how you get her through. That's how you get her through. Maybe you do Willow Nightingale and Saraya in the main event and have Chris Statlander cost Willow again. I don't know. Or maybe they go with Mariah May. And then you do Mariah May versus Toni Storm and All In. You could. You could. I'm just really, really thinking about any other options here. Those are the only two we got. Mariah May or Saraya. I'm going with Saraya, though. For the men. So check this out. That wild card spot you see below Jeff Jarrett, which, by the way, why the fuck is Jeff Jarrett in this? MJF is not in it, but Jeff Jarrett is. Why? Now, that wild card could be MJF. And if that's the case, okay, whatever. Then he wins. But I'm looking at that wild card spot. I have two names in mind. I already said one, MJF or Keith Lee. If that wild card spot is Keith Lee, that's who wins. If the wild card spot is MJF, that's who wins. But if it's neither one of those, and it's a New Japan Pro Wrestling or a CMLL talent, then it's between Pac or Bryan Danielson. Now, for sentimental reasons, I would go with Bryan Danielson. That would mean the main event would include Bryan Danielson, and he wins the world title against whoever it is. That's what I would do. Because if he's retiring very, very soon, then he needs to have a run with that world title. One run. I'm not asking it to go all the way until, next year's Revolution or something like that? He can just hold it until Full Gear and drop it, and then retire. But give him the belt one time. Just one run. But if you're not going to do that, you can go with Pac. And then if they have Pac win the tournament, then it has to be Will Ospreay versus Pac. That's another spoiler. See, if Bryan Danielson wins, you could have him fight Will Ospreay again or have him fight Swerve. That makes things a little bit more interesting. But with Pac, it can only be Will Ospreay. Now, luckily, by this point, when we get to the finals, it'll be July 10th. So this will be after Forbidden Door, so we'll know. That wild card spot is going to tell the story. If it's Keith Lee or MJF, that's who's winning. Anybody else, I'm not going to put any stock into that. So, for right now, of those people, I'm going to go with Bryan Danielson. Let's go with that. Bryan Danielson, who's a face, and Saraya, who's a heel. You need a face and a heel. So, Bryan Danielson, and then Saraya. And if we have to go the opposite, well, Pac is a face to me. So, regardless, it's either Pac or Danielson. Well, if it's Keith Lee or MJF, that's also a face. So, yeah, you know what? I'm going with Saraya. I think Saraya wins the women's tournament. We'll go from there. But regardless of what they decide to do, at the end of the day, AEW just needs to get good at telling stories again. It is okay to tell stories. I'm not saying tell stories like WWE. I'm saying give people a reason to give a fuck about your product. And stop booking your shows for the sickos. Book your shows for the maximum amount of people that can watch it. Because you have a business to run. You have people to pay. You have wrestlers who have families to feed. Do you really care about these wrestlers? Then you should want them to have the best opportunities to connect with the biggest audience possible. You can't do that with just wrestling. You need stories too. Sorry. You don't like to hear it, that's too goddamn bad. You know I'm telling the truth. And if you really, really, really love these talents, you should want the best for them. You tell me when I'm telling lies. Otherwise, stop lying to yourself and just say that you only like AEW because it's not WWE. And that's fine too. But don't come up here and tell me you care about these wrestlers and you care about the talent and you care about the company and then in that same breath say, screw storylines. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. As long as it's not the complete opposite, which is like all story, no wrestling, finding that happy medium, that happy balance, we're good. But I'm pretty sure I pissed off a lot of people, as usual. If you hate me, if you love me, thank you for watching regardless. Give me your thoughts down below. Tell me how you feel about Dynamite, how you feel about Forbidden Door, how you feel about the Owen Hart Cup tournament, and where is your thoughts right now heading into All In? Who do you think will be the main event? How do you feel about MJF and Will Ospreay, Swerve potentially being the main event, the wild card pick? Give me your picks about who's going to win the cups, the women's, the men's. Full discussion down below. But I appreciate you for watching. I hope you guys are having a great day. As you follow out, do all the YouTube things. Like the video, subscribe, and click that bell to catch all my content when it comes out. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cashapp, and VENMO. I love you all. I'll catch you guys next time right here in Alyx's world. The place that is, was, and forever will be a safe space for wrestling fans like you. I'm out. Peace. When you're up.